we will try to accommodate as many questions as possible within the time that is available. And I would ask everyone not to wait for the end of the webinar to send their questions so that they can send them as early as possible as the webinar progresses. So at this point in time, I want to invite Peter, of course, to make his presentation. So Peter, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. As it was mentioned, I'm going to talk about the National Adaptation Geo-information System project in Hungary. I work for the National Adaptation Center of the Hungarian Mining and Geological Survey. I have three topics, as you can see from the next slide. The country experience is on institutional arrangements, the methodology used for vulnerability assessment, and the results what our system was used up to now. So for the first, several words about the legal framework. Before NAGiS, we didn't have a unified adaptation and planning system in Hungary. However, we did have a climate change strategy since 2008. But in 2012, the law on climate change was modified, and the legal basis for elaborating an adaptation geo-information system was created by lawmakers, by the parliament. And in 2013, our institute was granted an European Economic Area grant for elaboration of the National Adaptation Geo-information System. This project ran between 2013 and 2016, and in 2016 the NAGiS was launched. During the project time, the government has issued decree on the detailed rules of operation of NAGiS, and later the Minister for Development in Hungary did issue the operating rules of NAGiS, and currently now we are working on a EU and Hungarian co-finance project on the further development of NAGiS. However, this adaptation system was not only developed by our institute, but it was a collaboration of the leading Hungarian climate adaptation research institutes. The whole project, NAGiS and its accompanying projects, was funded by EEA grants, Adaptation to Climate Change Program. As you can see it on the fourth slide, our institute elaborated the software system. The hardware system is running at our institute. We built the meta database and the database, of course, and several data layers included in the system, like drinking water bases, groundwaters, flash flood data layers. And we had, you can see it on the left side of the slide, several accompanying projects which elaborated research and data layers for the system. For example, on the health effects of heat waves, effects of climate change on tourism, social, economic impacts of climate change, and layers on agriculture, ecology. And on the right side, you can see that according to its goals and mission statement, the NAGiS can be a decision support tool for national, for local levels, for the wider public, and for the economic decision makers. And of course, it is a good basis for universities and research groups to make further research. Now, several words about the methodology we use. As I mentioned before elaboration of the NAGiS in Hungary, there was no unified system or unified research method for different climate adaptation research institutes. So one objective of the NAGiS was to elaborate such a unified methodology, create an integrated database, because most of the databases are used in separate institutes. And of course, we wanted to visualize the results, creating a map system, a metadata system, and disseminate the information. By developing the NAGiS, we were using the CIVAS model developed by the Clavier project based on IPCC methodology. So we were striving to assess impacts, exposures, sensitivity, adaptation capacity, and as a result, the vulnerability of different territories within Hungary, so that it can be used on national and local adaptation planning. So let's take a look at what is NAGiS all about. You can access the whole system at nagis.hu. It is one single portal, but it contains actually three portals. The basic portal, which contains news, documents, studies, all information about the system. The most important or most impressive part of the system is the map portal, and registered users can access the database portal, and you can scroll through layers by the help of the metadatabase. The map portal, you can see here, contains information and map layers for all Hungary. We used 10 by 10 kilometers resolution. The database system contains more than 900 data layers on various issues and various impacts of climate change, but 650 of these data layers were visualized as map layers. However, this map portal runs only in Hungarian, but you can see a screenshot here on the effects of heat waves for Hungary. All of the layers have links to the metadata, so you can scroll through it and you can zoom into your local levels. You can see it here that we have 16 groups of data layers, 16 themes included in the NAGiS, from groundwater table, drinking water bases, demography, ecosystem services, forestry, flash flood. So you can choose between the layers by using the map portals. Some words about the methodology. We use the VEXIM and the Aladdin regional models, downscaled from global models, and we had 3 time windows: 1961, 1990 as a reference period, and the future time windows were 2021, 2015. And 2071 and the end of the century. So as I mentioned, we have more than 900 data layers included in the system. And finally, several words about how it was used in national and local governmental decision making. As I mentioned, we have a former version of National Climate Change Strategy issued in 2008, but our institute elaborated as a governmental background institute the second National Climate Change Strategy of Hungary. Actually, it was adopted by the government, and it's it's waiting for Parliament approval now, and by working out this national strategy, the NAGiS system was used. Hungary has 19 counties, and most of the counties have elaborated climate change strategies in the past years. In the last year, our institute worked on 3 of these climate change strategies: the climate change strategy for Pest country, the central part of Hungary, Borsod and Hajdú-Bihar in the northern and in the eastern part of the country. And you can see that the results of NAGiS were used as assessments for these country-level planning processes. And we had a pilot project for testing all NAGiS in local planning. That was a smaller area, a city level, and a small regional planning process. You can find this pilot project results on that link shown in the slide. And finally, some words about the project we are working on. Now we are working on the further development of the NAGiS system. We will run calculations using new climate change exposure. So we are going to make new exposure layers by using the Eurocodex database and new databases for refining our results. And one of the most important goal of this further development is to make it more user-friendly, to make management information system for national and local level users. And of course, we are working on the development of the hardware system and the software system. And we would like to disseminate our results because the NAGiS is now mostly for scientific academic area, but we would like to make it more usable for decision makers. So thank you for your attention, and I recommend you to click on the NAGiS website. In the documents section, you will find a lot of publications and descriptions about our system if you are more interested in it. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Peter, for that elaborate presentation on Hungary's National Adaptation Geo-information System. I still urge the participants to send their questions to the Secretariat as I take the opportunity to invite the next presenter, Yong-Jung. So Yong-Jung, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Stefan. Good morning or good evening. I am Yoon-Jung Kim from Korea Adaptation Center for Climate Change at Korea Environment Institute. First of all, thank you for giving me the valuable opportunity to share our Geo-information system for climate change. In this presentation, I will introduce Korea's climate change vulnerability assessment tool, which is named the VESTAP. The VESTAP was developed in 2014. In the presentation, the development purpose and national arrangement to launch the VESTAP and the overview and impact and its role will be introduced. So let me first introduce how VESTAP was launched in Republic of Korea. The first movement for data-driven scientific climate change monitoring and forecasting was started with the establishment of National Framework Act on Climate Change Adaptation in 2010. Regarding the law, we developed National Climate Change Adaptation Plan, and in that plan, we specify the mandate to conduct scientific climate change impact assessment. In line with that, Korea also establishes the Korea Adaptation Center for Climate Change to support those mandates. The center was established inside of the Korea Environment Institute, a main environmental research institution in Korea that has the ability to research and develop a policy support tool such as the VESTAP. In next slide. Upon the law and national plan, all of the regional governments should have to assess their future impact to build their own adaptation plan for every 5 years. That is, each region should recognize their adaptation priorities and vulnerabilities to build their own adaptation plan. To support this movement, we developed the VESTAP targeting 17 provincial and 252 municipal governments in South Korea. VESTAP was designed as a web-based system like NAGiS. Every authorized person can have their own ID to access the VESTAP through the internet. So now let me introduce the structure and function of the VESTAP. It focuses on 7 assessment categories such as health, agriculture, disaster, and forest. In each category, we specified the sub-assessment categories such as vulnerability caused by heat extreme or vulnerability caused by ozone. Users can select their interested category and navigate the information through the web system. So next slide, please. For each category, we support bottom-up climate change vulnerability assessment. I think this methodology is quite similar to Peter's presentation. An indicator-based assessment, which is based on the concept climate exposure, sensitivity, and adaptation capacity, which is stated at IPCC's third and fourth assessment report. Climate exposure means the exposure rate on the change of meteorological elements such as temperature above 33 degrees, which means the cause of heat extremes. Sensitivity reflects how people or region is sensible to such climate exposure. For example, we specify the indicator like distribution of low-income groups. On the other hand, adaptive capacity reflects how socio-economic arrangement, such as governance or policy, can reduce the impact of climate change. For these 3 elements, representative indicators are selected and it is weighted upon their importance. Regarding those assessment framework, VESTAP provides statistical or geographical data to arrange indicators for climate exposure, sensitivity, and adaptation capacity. Relevant national databases are collected from diverse sources and stored in the VESTAP. As a result, in our database, we provide RCT 4.5 and 8.5 scenario till 2050 and relevant socioeconomic data sets. We also provide a scenario of air quality change to evaluate the impact on health. As you can see in the next slide, in the VESTAP users can take a look or download the spatial map, data table, or graphs. Users also can select the time range or targeting region that they want to scroll to evaluate the adaptation priorities. So we provide a pre-assessment result for each assessment category. Research team of the VESTAP set the indicators and rate within the participation of various experts and add the assessment result into the system. However, users of a municipal government can also conduct their own vulnerability assessment with regional experts. We made a function that enables users to freely select, constitute, and add the indicators. We strongly recommend the regional government to use this function to reflect their own regional characteristics. Since its development in 2013, VESTAP has been widely used to develop detailed implementation plan on each region. VESTAP has been used, considered, and discussed with various local experts and government officers. It affects the decision on the adaptation priorities and organization of the budget plan. Considering its impact, VESTAP is responsible to provide transparent and scientific information with high user convenience. For this reason, VESTAP is annually upgraded. New assessment category is keep developing and database is improving. Furthermore, upon the user's demand, we are developing additional functions such as the calculation function to offer the different forms of the graph, or we are trying to upgrading the data to have more reliable results. Even though we are annually upgrading the VESTAP, there is a challenge that should be considered. VESTAP is not available to assess the absolute vulnerability. We just show the relative vulnerability by comparing its regions. Hence, research to develop absolute vulnerability needs to be performed in future. Furthermore, more assessment category for a more broader assessment and more concise socio-economic information for adaptation capacity, and also consideration of socio-economic scenarios for the future data on a socio-economic state should be considered in the step in future. South Korea is now developing the additional tool to perform integrated vulnerability assessment. Therefore, we expect integrated assessment will be available after 2020. Regarding such challenges, we expect to improve the VESTAP to support the thorough scientific monitoring on climate change to promote data-driven adaptation decisions. So this was my presentation. Thank you for listening. Please feel free to ask any questions.
Thank you very much, Yong-Chung, for introducing Korea's supporting tool of climate change vulnerability assessment, VESTAP. And thank you to both presenters. I commend you on behalf of the CGE and the Secretariat for the wonderful job. Now I would want to open the floor, of course, for questions, and we already have one question to both presenters. And the question is if the different systems or tools that you have presented allow the input such as stakeholder consultation, and if so, how?
Okay, I think the first question is to me. Is it correct? What is the difference between climate data and climate change? The NAGiS system, as I showed it in my presentation, has a map and the database portal. But however, the map database is absolutely public; anyone can see it. But the database behind it can be used only for registered users. The operation rules were laid down in the governmental decree Governmental, municipal institutions, research institutes, NGOs, and other types of institutes were named who can use the database behind it. So this is important because the database contains all data for NAGiS, even the raw data. This is the climate data, for example, measured temperature or water management data. But these data can only be seen for researchers, for a small part of the registered users. But the climate change data, the delivered data, like drought indexes, rainfall indexes, projections for future rainfall change. These are the climate change data. So these are not raw data, and these are public, and these can be seen through the database and the map database as well. So this is the difference. One is raw data only for researchers of NAGiS, and the other includes projections and delivered data.
Thank you very much, Peter. Would you also want to respond to the other question by Bala, whether your tool allows the input such as stakeholder consultations, and if so, how? And then also I will throw the same question again, pose the same question to Yongjun, because the question I said, of course, that the question is to both of you.
Yes, the first part of NAGiS development between 2013 and 2016 included a wide range of consultations, disseminations, conferences, workshops to present our results. But however, the system is mostly interesting for the academic sphere today because the system is not enough user friendly. The further development process which we are working on now will make the system more user friendly, and we are planning to involve municipal and national leaders and make workshops, trainings for them, and of course we will include their recommendations and their needs for the development of the system. So an intensive dissemination and intensive involvement period is coming from the end of this year and in next year.
Thank you very much, Peter. Yongjun, would you want to respond?
Yes, I think I can respond to very last question. Further question, before we launched the VESTAP, we also had a lot of consultations with national experts, and we had actually a lot of consultations to fix the indicators. However, even though we had the participation process with a lot of experts, there are kind of requests from the regional government. They said that they can kind of having the different inputs for the vulnerability indicators, because sometimes regional indicators cannot specifically reflect the regional characteristics. So that's why we made the function that users can select and modify the indicators. So after we make that function, now municipal governments can conduct their own assessment when they are having the assessment, they're actually having different consultations with local experts, and they are changing weight for every indicators, or making the whole new set of indicators that can positively reflecting their regional characteristics. So I hope this answer can helpful to Diana. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Young Jong-kyung. And of course, I want to thank all of you for the wonderful presentation and for elaborately, of course, responding to the questions from the participants. I do not seem to see any more questions from the participants, and I would want to take the opportunity as we come to the close of this webinar to thank both of you, Peter and Yong-Chung, for your presentations, and to all the participants who have participated in this webinar. It would have been a useless effort, of course, without the interaction of each one of you. Lastly, before we close, of course, I would want to inform everyone that we would appreciate if each one of the participants could fill out the survey form that will come up when this session ends. It will not take more than 5 minutes of your time. And of course, this effort will be most appreciated by the Secretariat and the CGE. Kindly note that the next CGE webinar will be held in a couple of weeks, and will focus on estimating the cost of health and adaptation. We will, of course, share through the Secretariat the announcement with everyone through email. And if you are on Facebook, please follow the Mitigation and Transparency Exchange page to get updated on the webinar series. I would want to thank everybody as we bring this webinar to a close, including, of course, the Secretariat that has provided very invaluable support, of course, to this process, and to everyone else who has contributed to the success of this webinar. Thank you to everyone, all the participants and presenters. Thank you very much, and have a good day or good night.